Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Today's class, we'll be using blocks and a blanket. So if you have those with you, let's start now. If not, go ahead and pause the video, grab what you need. Um, these are the tools that I always recommend that you have when you practice for yourself or in a studio. These are tools to help you feel more supported and steady within your practice. Use them, don't use them, but bring them in and see where it takes you. But today's class, we're going to be starting out sitting on our blanket. This is to elevate our hips, to allow a little bit more circulation, because we will be sitting in stillness for a few minutes. And though when I say a few minutes, it doesn't seem long, but when you're sitting in stillness with yourself, it can feel like a lifetime. So this is the real practice. Sitting with yourself really allows you to settle down your world within you. And the practice of yoga was designed to calm the fluctuations of the mind first. The practice of asana or postures actually came much later in those texts and is really not a big part of the practice of yoga. And so I definitely just wanted to highlight that a little bit, because the most important part of the practice is actually the stillness. We'll start in stillness and then we'll end in stillness. And this is where the true magic and integration truly happens, when you learn how to recognize and observe your inner state. And with time, you'll learn the tools to help to regulate, rebalance, recalibrate yourself through these simple practices of stillness. So let's get started. And you can always use a block as well. If you want to bring it up a little bit higher, you can put a block down, put your blanket forward. I like to put the fringes in the back and the fold in the front. And you're basically just going to put your sitting bones right here on the block, and you'll have to kind of find a comfortable spot here. So you can sit wide-legged and bring your knees back if that's comfortable, or crossing your legs one in front of the other, whichever feels good right now. Or you might just be sitting like this. And of course, you can always bring blocks in if you have an extra block. But really, we're looking for a nice, comfortable seat. Many of us living in this sedentary life, we sit all day indoors. So I think it's really important to sit in a different way. Allow your hips to open up a little bit, and see what happens. So, all right, let's move into the beginning of our class. Well, we will be breathing mindfully, sitting in stillness, and practicing bringing ourselves back into the present moment. Some things that I like to say to myself are, I am here. And I might say that over and over again inside myself quietly. I am here, especially when you feel yourself being pulled in different directions by the things that you should have done, you need to do, the future, the past. Bring that in and bring that here to the present moment. I invite you to close your eyes or keep a soft gaze. Hands can be on the lap. And really push down through those sitting bones. Engage the core slightly. Start to pull the shoulders back. Push down to lift up to the spine and to the crown of the head. And then slightly tuck the chin into the chest to really open up the back of the neck. To really feel that elongation through the spine. If you haven't closed your eyes already, please do. And begin to notice the breath. Just observe the breath moving in and out of the body. observe the quality of your breath. Is it shallow? Is it balanced? Is it drawn out? Nothing is wrong. We're simply observing here. Continue to breathe mindfully. I invite you to keep your eyes closed, breathing mindfully as I give instructions to the next portion of our practice, which will be our breath work portion. I invite you to keep your eyes closed as you continue to breathe mindfully. And we'll now be moving to the breath work portion of our class. Today we'll be working on the 3-part breath, the Dirga breath. For some simple instruction, we'll release all the air from our body. On your next inhale, you'll inhale, letting the belly expand, letting the air come into the rib cage and then all the way up into the chest. Slight pause. And then exhaling from the chest, the ribs, the belly. And when I say inhaling or exhaling from these points, it's basically just bringing your awareness to these points in your body as your breath moves up and down through the body, letting that flow of energy, flow of breath through the body. Let's take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale, let everything go, and get ready to breathe. Inhale from the belly, the ribs, the chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Continue with this 3-part breath on your own cycle, and I'll call you back when it's time to release the Dirga breath. On your next exhale, slowly release the Dirga breath and return back to a normal breathing cycle. Breathing here mindfully for a moment and simply observing the way that you feel now. Maybe your body feels a little bit more relaxed. Maybe you feel more tense. Nothing is wrong. We're simply observing our individual state of being. If you haven't opened your eyes yet, slowly start to open them. We'll move into our seated position. We'll move the blocks and the blanket away. And move the blocks to the front of your mat so you have them accessible, and keep the blanket not far away so we can use it for our kneeling portion of the practice. We're going to set up in our Dandasana or staff pose. Seated, sitting bones firm on the ground, lengthen legs to the front of the mat. Feet are flexed. Pull those feet back. Now start to point the feet. Pull the feet back. Now start to point. And just point and flex in this way, starting to add movement and circulation, warming up these beautiful joints that move us through our life, day in, day out. And maybe even spread the toes a little bit if you can. We often stuff our feet into shoes, some good for us, some better. Good. Once that feels good and complete, you can do this as long as you like, of course, and definitely recommend doing this every morning. Warm up the joints, especially your feet and your ankles. And I want to have nice, strong, mobile ankles as our bodies move through the different stages of this life experience. And go ahead and take a pause and just rock your ankles and feet side to side. Hands can be on the ground, hands can be on the lap. I often like to put just my hands on my lap, keeping it nice and casual. Your practice doesn't have to be rigid. It's really the quality of your practice, not the quantity. And then go ahead and take a pause. And then let's go ahead and make some rotations one way a few times. And I don't know about you, but this feels so good. This is one of my favorite things to do every morning. So maybe you'll enjoy it too. And then once that feels good, take a pause and reverse those rotations, because we want to always make sure that we balance out each side so we feel nice and balanced through our day. Good. Go ahead and take a pause here. And we're going to sweep both arms up to sky. Really find length. Push down through the sitting bones, lift up through the torso, up through the chest. Find length. And then exhale, slowly start to bend the elbows, open up the hands, and push the chest forward. Inhale, find length. Exhale, pull it down. Pull those shoulder blades back. Good. Lengthen up. And bring it down. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open. We're going to pause here, and we're going to bring our hands to fists. And we're slowly going to start to roll out our wrists one way. Again, just warming up these joints. And then once that feels good on that circulation, go ahead and reverse those rotations. Okay, now take a pause and just flick out those fingers, and then just start to rapidly start to move. And you might start feeling it really in the forearms here. Keep going. Get ready to rest in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring it down. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. You can also bring your blanket in and roll it up and put it underneath that left knee to add a little bit more support. And your right foot can actually go kind of underneath that left leg as well. Bring your hands to your hips, push down, lift up, chest lifts up, finding that length in the spine. And then exhale, grabbing onto the hips and slowly hinging your hips forward. It's not about going all the way down. It's about noticing the sensation in the back of the left leg. Maybe you feel a nice lengthening through the back of the left leg. And just sit here and breathe, letting your hips relax. And if you want to add a little bit more sensation, start to bring those left toes in towards the torso. Take a few more mindful breaths here. Noticing areas of your body that might tense up. And see if you might be able to use your breath to allow a little bit more release in those areas. Good. Slowly sit down to the sitting bones, engage the core to push yourself back up to a seated position. And we're going to move the blanket over to our right side. And we're going to lengthen that right leg. And then we're going to pull that left foot to the right thigh. Lift up the left knee. Bring that blanket in and put it on top. Bring your hands to your hips. Push down, lift up, finding length. Chest is up and open. Shoulders are back. Now slowly start to hinge at the hips forward to your comfortability. Taking a few breaths and a few moments here. One more mindful breath. And then slowly start to lift back up to a seated position. Bring your blanket off to the side. Bring your legs out one more time. And maybe just wiggle them up and down, shaking them out. Good. Now we're going to bring our hands to our shoulders and just get a little bit of shoulder mobility in here. And just start to make circles with your shoulders, opening through the chest. Slow movements, moving with your breath. Good. And I'll take a pause and then reverse those rotations. Beautiful. Go ahead and let those feet come down. We're going to sweep our legs to the side and we're going to make our way into a tabletop position. I recommend bringing in a blanket here because we're going to be on our knees for just a little bit. So bring that blanket out, make it a little bit longer so both your knees can fit on it. It's going to be about midway through the mat. Bring your knees here and bring your blocks in close. Bring your hands down to the mat. This is our tabletop position. Find the sturdiness in this pose. Really feel the points of connection on the mat. Your fingertips are pushing down, fingers are spread wide. Tops of the feet are down, knees are down. Push their shoulder blades back and start to lower the belly and lift the chest, coming into your cow pose. Now we're going to tuck the tailbone, round the upper back, coming into your cat. Inhale, belly lowers, chest lifts. Exhale, tuck and round. Belly lowers, chest lifts. Tuck and round. Belly lowers, chest lifts. Tuck and round. Let's do 3 more. Moving with the breath. When you hit that third, slowly make your way back into a neutral tabletop position. Next, we're going to shift our weight onto our left hand, And we're going to let that right arm become light as we push down to lift up through the left arm and twist open to the right. We're going to move into our thread the needle. Bend the elbow and thread underneath that left arm and hover here. Inhale, lifts and twists you up, finding length through that right hand. And then exhale, thread and hover. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, thread and hover. Let's do 3 more with your own breath. Hold here and then slowly let it down. Now you can keep your left hand underneath your left shoulder, or you can gently start to walk that left hand long towards the top of your mat. And maybe roll open a little bit onto that left side. Maybe gaze comes to your left armpit, just adding a little bit more sensation if that feels good. If not, you don't have to move your body in that way. One more breath here. And if you lengthen out that left arm, slowly bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Push down with the left hand to lift yourself up to that one arm tabletop, and then twist open one more time, lengthening that right arm to the sky. Mindfully bring that right hand down to the mat. Both hands are planted. Now shift your weight over onto the right side, and your left arm will lift up to sky for that twist. We're going to move into that thread and the needle. So thread and hover. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, thread and hover. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, thread and hover. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Now we're going to do 3 with our own breath here. Now this time we're going to thread it all the way through and come down, letting that head just come down gently. Staying here with the right hand underneath that right shoulder, or slowly elongating that right arm nice and long. One more breath here. Good. And slowly bring that right hand underneath the right shoulder. Push down, lift up, and twist open one more time here. And then gently let that left hand come down to the ground. Go ahead and bring your blocks in towards, we're going to bring it to about our medium setting. So this would be your high setting, medium setting, and low setting. So bring it just wider than the knees and step your right leg forward, tuck the back foot, and slide or shimmy your right foot forward. Maybe that's easier with the blanket here. And then just sink into this lunge, opening through the chest. If it's easier for having them a little bit higher, that's why I do recommend cork blocks. They just give you a little bit more steadiness and stability over those softer blocks. And then I want you to start to shift your hips back and lengthen that right leg. Walk those blocks back behind you and pull your toes towards the body. This is your half split. Good. Start to stamp that right foot down. Walk those blocks forward. Sink into that lunge again. And we're going to go move back and forth with the lunge and the half split. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, shift the hips back. Walk the hips back. Sink into the half split. Inhale as you walk the blocks forward and sink into the lunge. 2 more like that. Walk back, sink the hips back. Walk forward, sink the hips forward. Good. 2 more. Last one, sink it back. And then come back into that lunge. We're going to round our top back, kind of like on our cat that we did earlier. And we're going to bring that right knee back. Left foot steps forward. Tuck that back toe. And sink into that lunge. We're going to take a few breaths here in this low lunge. And tuck that toe. And move your blocks where it feels good, opening up through the chest. And if you need to shift the hips back and forward just a little bit, just to find that comfortable position, do that. Letting those hips open up a little bit more. Breathing into the hips. Remember, when you breathe into something, you're bringing your awareness to those areas of tension. We're going to begin to sink back into our half split. So shift those hips back as you walk your blocks back and then pull those left toes towards the torso. We'll take a few mindful breaths here in our half split. Good. Now walk your blocks forward and we're going to move back and forth through these poses. Here we come to our lunge. And then exhale as we shift our hips back, pull those toes forward and lengthen that front left leg. And then walk it forward into your lunge. And then sink it back into your split. Walk it forward to your lunge. Sink it back into your split. Let's do one more. Walk it forward to your lunge. Sink it back into your split. Walk it forward to your lunge. Round the upper back. Make yourself taller. And then bring that left knee back. And then bring your blocks off to the side. Coming back into that tabletop position. We're going to lengthen the right leg back to the back of the mat, follow the foot to the mat. Just shift that heel back and forth a few times, opening up the calf muscle. Now shift it back, stay here. Shift your weight onto the right hand, right arm. Push down with that right hand and maybe lift that left arm forward. If you want a little bit more, you can challenge your balance and lift that right leg back, really stamping that right foot back behind you. Slowly bring the right leg down. If you lifted it, left hand comes down. Then go ahead and bring that right knee to the blanket. Let's let that left leg come back behind you and start to rock back and forth. Good, and come to stillness if you haven't already. And then slowly shift your weight over onto that left hand, pushing down to lift up. And let that right arm float back forward towards the front of the mat and hover. Thumb pointing up to the sky. And if you want to add a little bit more sensation and balance and challenge for yourself here, slowly lift that left leg up. Good. Release the left foot to the ground if you had it lifted, and the right hand comes down, and then bring that right knee in. We're going to go back and forth through these bird dogs. Elongate the right leg back to the back of the mat. Left arm floats up. Bring the left arm down, right knee down. Left leg extends, right arm extends. Right arm down, left knee in. Right leg back extends, left arm floats. Left arm down, right knee to blanket. Left leg long, Extend the right arm to a hover. Slowly bring the right hand down, left knee in. One more on each side. Right leg extends, left arm floats. Left arm down, right knee in. Left leg extends, right arm floats up, right arm comes down, left knee in. And coming back to our tabletop position. We're going to walk ourselves back and sweep our legs around, and we're going to move down into the final part of our practice, our Shavasana, our pose of integration. This is the ending part of the class where we end in stillness. Shavasana is a pose of integration because it allows you to sit and feel the actions and the intentions that you put in your practice today. The breath work, the movement, the action. To me, yoga is the art of intention. Intentional breath, intentional movement, intentional action. And this can be practiced on or off the mat. So go ahead and bring your blanket in. I like to bring also blocks in. If I have a bolster, I'll bring that in too. But I'll bring the blocks so they're underneath my thighs, kind of closer into my glutes to kind of support my lower back as I lay down. And then just bring that blanket to the back of the mat. And then slowly just make your way down your way. Moving those blocks underneath the thighs if you like. Finding a nice comfortable space for your blanket. Letting your legs come out wide, arms come out wide. Maybe lift the chest. And maybe just shake the body out just a little bit, allowing for any stuck areas of tension just to kind of release and relax into the mat a little bit more. Begin to close the eyes and come back to the breath. We'll move through a body scan, and then you can release and relax into Shavasana fully. With your eyes closed, slowly bring your awareness to the crown of your head, allowing any tension in this area to simply melt away. Now bring your awareness down to your eyebrows, your cheekbones, your jaw. Moving down the neck into the shoulders and chest, allowing the shoulders to just sink into the mat. Letting the arms grow heavy, the hands grow soft. Now bring your awareness to your heart space. And notice the quiet rhythm within you. Now move your awareness to the belly, the hips, let the legs grow heavy. Release through the knees, through the ankles, through the feet. Take a nice, smooth, easy breath in. And exhale, let everything go. It's time to let go of doing and to let yourself simply be. I'll call you back when Shavasana is over. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. Bringing your awareness back into the body, back into the room. And begin to wake up the body with small, gentle movements. Maybe the rubbing the fingers on the palms of the hands. Maybe a gentle rocking side to side with the neck. And then just gradually start to make these movements a little bit larger, maybe moving the wrists, rolling the wrists, the ankles and feet, pointing, flexing, rolling. And start to bring those knees in, bring those feet, plant them to the ground, and then bring the knees into the chest, giving yourself one beautiful hug of gratitude because you showed up today for yourself. And that's what a practice is all about. Showing up for you every day. Just moving your body in a nice, gentle way, breathing with intention. Slowly roll over onto whatever side is calling you. Take a slight pause, letting you just notice the ground supporting your body. And when you're ready, using that top arm to gently push yourself up into a seated position where we will meet seated on our mats like we began. I'm going to bring in my blocks and just lift up my hips a little bit higher, making a little bench, bringing my legs down. I also gained a friend during Shavasana. And taking just a moment here to settle in one more time. Now bring your hands down to your sides and sweep them up and out overhead on the inhale. Bring your hands down to heart center. Pause here. Close the eyes. Some words for you to walk with on your journey today. May you walk through each day with clarity and balance. May you speak through each day with love and compassion. May you be true to yourself and follow a purposeful path so you may live a life of peace, freedom, abundance, and love. Thank you. I hope this simple practice brought a little nourishment to your morning, to your evening, whenever you watch this. And taking these movements of not just the body, but also the breath with you throughout the day. Staying present, bringing yourself back to the present moment as much as possible. Recognizing the feelings that come up inside of you throughout the day. And before you quickly react to something, can you just take a breath? And then you make your choice whether you're going to react or respond. I hope you're well, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you soon.